Great morning, YouTube. Review and Play 23 here with a brand new One Piece review. Today we'll be doing chapter 939, and Old Leopard's claw are always sharp. That's the translation I'm reading from Manga Panda. To start off this chapter, we have Jinbei getting a haircut from a giant spider crab. Requested by Hugh. I think it's the first time this person's ever had their drawings done. It's a nice drawing. It's super weird, but it fits Oda's imagination. Right off the bat, we get the first page. We continue with Hiyori's statement to Zoro, and she's glad that she made a bet that Zoro would be a good guy, and he was. Zoro confirms that he knows Zoro, that he knows Momonosuke, and that things are going good for him as far as he knows. Hiyori starts to explain her past, which I found to be the most interesting part of the chapter, because we actually get to see her point of the story, with the whole thing about why she got left behind. It came down to a choice of her or Momonosuke. Momonosuke gotta go with the plan, so she had to stay behind. And Kawamatsu took care of her. It seems Otoko knows all this too. It's pretty interesting that she would tell her and that she could actually keep that secret. You think that's not something you would tell such a young child, but I guess she trusts her, so that's okay. You find out that Kawamatsu is actually might actually be a Kappa Mink. If he is a mink, I mean he must be. So it's a mythical creature that doesn't have fur. So I don't know if he really is a mink. It'll be interesting to see just what kind of creature he is. Because it was explained that the minks are only animals that have fur, and kappas are not usually depicted as animals that have fur. So I'm interested to see what the explanation with that is. Hiyori talks about how he took care of her throughout the time they were together. And then at some point, when she was 13, they became separated, and she no longer knows what happened to him. But she's sure that he's alive somewhere, that he's a strong samurai. And thankfully she's right. I found the conversation interesting, that she was willing to take a bet to Zoro, that he was, because he seemed like an outsider, and she knows that the prophecy for her that her mother told is around this time. She was willing to take a bet on that Zoro somehow, someway knew Momonosuke. She does a cute panel where she cowers in fear for a little bit just because he might be an evildoer. But he says he's not, and she believes him. Once again, the way Oda draws Hiyori is very good. She looks completely different than Komurasaki. Her attitude, her facial expressions are fantastic. I think this is the best female character Oda has drawn in One Piece in a while. She definitely does not have the Nami look on her. Zoro confirms who the 9 scabbards are. She tells them all about them all. The only one we haven't seen is Denjiro, I believe. I know some people still think he might be the witching hour boy. It seems Oda has probably already introduced all the 9 Scabbards to us. We just don't really know who Denjiro is. I don't really have any ideas on who he might be. I'm hoping it's somebody we haven't met yet, so that there's still some surprises left. But knowing Oda, is probably someone he's introduced already under a different name. Hiyori does a cute face when she finds out that Nekomamushi and Inuarashi are still alive, and she almost cries for them. That made me chuckle when I first saw it. Coco has a chuckle with it too. I find it interesting that Hiyori also had the same train of thought as Momonosuke, saying that she thinks it might be better if he doesn't show up until after the final battle, so he doesn't distract them from their mission, which is a fair point, I guess. It's something Oda would do. I don't really think it's necessary, but I figure she might have some sort of information that might be useful to them after all her years of spying. But I guess not. I mean, we don't even know if they're going to or not. My bet is on some way, somehow they will meet before the battle, just because things work out that way. If it's their plan not to meet, then they will probably meet. They have a conversation about how it's kind of bad that the plan got found out and that puts people in peril, but Zoro thinks it's best just to not think about it too much and deal with it when it comes. He's about to take a nap. Murasaki and Otoko are loudly having fun while he tries to sleep. But he eventually falls asleep. Then we move on to a little scene of what's happening to the people that were captured last chapter. We see that they're being taken to a criminals gallery where people walking can see them, can see who the criminals against the country are. We find out that that's where Beppo and the other Lost Crew people are. It seems Beppo was pretty badly beaten. I'm guessing Law's on the way here. We didn't see him this chapter, but I'm pretty sure in the next few chapters he'll show up here. I personally think that this is going to be a pretty big moment. Since the plan's already been found out, maybe Law tries to defeat some of the Oniwa Banshu here just to try and get one up over the enemy, even though that's not his intention. And hopefully we got a cool scene where Law does something cool, like always. Some people are protesting, saying that they don't know what this rebellion business is about. They think the moon tattoo is some kind of old tradition, that they never signed up for a rebellion, and they think it's unfair that they're in prison. The head of Oniwa Banshu guy just says this is Lord Orochi's law, so just shut up and obey it. Which is an interesting point I never thought of, that some people who have the crescent moon in their ankles might not actually be rebels. They might have just been passed down due to family relations or something. And now they're getting in trouble for it. That was mostly all what happened there. Then we move on to Luffy and Old Man Hiyori. They're still in the middle of the fight. It seems they've knocked out a couple more people. Luffy's dodging around. I was a little disappointed that when we come back to this fight, Luffy's still just trying to work on his thing, and then you have to wait a couple of pages on Old Man Hiyori going, oh, what are you talking about? That thing? Oh, I can show you that thing. I think this chapter is 16 pages long. I think Oda could have just started off with that, put us in the middle of the action. That would have been better. But this is how Oda does things. Queen has a very interesting line where Armadillo Man comes in with some guns, and the prisoners think that this is somehow gonna end it. Well, the other minions think this is somehow gonna end it, and Queen shoots down the idea, saying, "What are you guys talking about? Do you guys not have eyes? This is clearly not gonna end it." Which is interesting because that means Queen sees Luffy's potential, even though all the other Smile users don't. And that's interesting because usually Oda paints all the lackeys as useless, and so he's at least giving Queen credit, even though I think it's kind of crazy that the lackeys are this dumb that they can't see that Luffy's not gonna die anytime soon from any of them. But now we get to probably the most interesting part of the chapter to you guys, which is the armament hockey discussion. Old Man Hiyori gives Luffy the same speech that Zoro's master gave him about how you can use hockey to not cut something when you don't want to, and to cut whatever you want to when you need it. And by using that same technique, you can somehow do the thing that Luffy's been trying to do. Old Man Hiyori goes in with Luffy's help. He dodges Alpaca Man's attack, and then he hits him with a technique he calls Goken, in the translation I'm reading. And it's a very cool looking shot. He seems to knock out Alpaca Man with one hit. Then we get Luffy saying, "Yes, that's the thing I want to learn. Please teach me that, old man." And that ends the chapter. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good chapter. I would give it a pretty high rating. I didn't see anything really bad with it. I would give it maybe, I guess, an 8. Yeah, 8 out of 10 is fine. Another thing I wish Oda would have done is with Luffy's future sight. I think maybe showing a panel of how Luffy's seeing the future that he's telling Old Man Hiyori would have been interesting. There is still some discussion among in the community about whether he's seeing the actual future or sensing it or whatever. And I think a panel or two could have definitely fit in here somewhere, just to make things clear. Because it is a little confusing just how Luffy sees the future. Because he has enough time to tell Old Man Hiyori what's happening or what's going to happen. And then my question is, So we know from Karakuri that the future is not set in stone. You can change it whenever you can change it if you work for it. So Luffy tells Old Man Hiyo to dodge in a certain way and then to dodge again. So is he looking into a future where he already tells Old Man Hiyo what to do and therefore he knows what's coming? Or is he looking in a future where he didn't tell Old Man Hiyo what to do and then by telling him he changes it so now he can predict it? That's a little confusing for me. But that's kind of the whole point of this, like, I think it's a little inconsistent, but what can you do? Then we have the whole, I don't know what it's gonna be called. Maybe Luffy will collect Goken too. Most likely some maybe push hockey, force hockey, something like that. Since he's seen it done before by different people, maybe he might copy their name. I mean, we'll see. I'm not sure. I think it's an interesting idea for hockey that just the same way a swordsman surrounds his sword with hockey to not cut things or to cut whatever he wants, a fighter can shoot out hockey, it seems like. And now, that's something I'm confused on. I don't know how this will help against Kaido. Because it's not like Kaido's skin was the problem for Luffy. It seems like he's just a strong guy. I don't see how an armament hockey force attack will somehow help him get through the defense. But Luffy thinks it will help, and he's a battle genius, so I'm pretty sure it'll go good for him. The art in this chapter was okay. There were a few scenes where it seemed like Oda was like, I don't want to draw this, or his assistants didn't want to draw it, and you just get characters talking on a white background, which Oda doesn't usually do a lot of. He's usually very diligent about that. But it's after a break, so we can get it for now. I think that's all I have to say, guys. Overall, this chapter was pretty good. I'm looking forward to next week. Hopefully we get some Law stuff. I think it's time we finally see Law do something cool again. That's pretty much all I'm looking forward to next week. I mean, this Luffy thing is not gonna pay off anytime soon, I don't think. Hopefully we don't have to see the whole training, just this part, and then yay, I got it. And that'll be all. Queen seems like a good character. I like that little line Oda threw in there. Hopefully he doesn't get disrespected in some crazy way, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks. Have a good rest of the day. Hope you enjoyed the chapter 2, and I'll see you guys next time.